will make you proud. This is so stupid. Okay. Action. Lock in. Listen to me. And y'all didn't believe me when I said I was a Dan and Phil girly. I've been here for years. I was going to title this What Not to Do in the Theater, because that's the American version, but I know that's not going to do well with the algorithm, so now my thought is, you're going to be the reasons theaters die. It's not because you can't afford it. That's not what I'm saying. For those who can afford it and go, they're the reasons. They are the reason. And my reasons are these that I will say in a second. I'm not saying it's those who can't afford it. They're the reasons. No, they're not the reasons that theaters are going to fail. Theaters have gotten more and more expensive, and it's really ridiculous. In this video, it's like he said 20 whatever. I'm assuming that's the equivalent to $20 to even get in. And then he would buy popcorn. I always buy popcorn as well because I love popcorn. But now it's like close to 50. Like a ticket is probably around 20 something, depending on how many people are going. And then getting the popcorn is an extra little bit. And then say you want a drink as well. And say you want like some kind of like snack to go with. I do remember though one time, because I usually always buy my snacks, or like my parents would buy my snacks when I was younger. I do remember the first time I went to the cinema, to the theater, with friends, and I bought my popcorn, bought my drink. We sit down. I was like, oh, do you guys want anything? They're like, no, we're good. I was like, okay. We sit down, and I look over, and they're all like pulling snacks out of their jacket, and I fully was like, are we good? Are they gonna arrest us? This was last year. I'm more saying those who go to the theater and then be a problem at a theater are the reasons that theaters are going to fail, because you're ruining the experience for everybody. You know, sometimes, this is in my theater, you go to the theater and they do like, please silence your cell phones now. Exits are in the front and rear of the auditorium. They don't just say that just to say that. They say that because like, you're here to watch a movie. The M&Ms don't go on screen to tell you, turn off your phone, for you to just be glowing it up in the theater. Now, granted, when he made this video, 13 years ago, mind you, when he made this video, iPhone's brightness only went so far down, or did not even have a brightness. Now the brightness level can go down. But if I invite you to the theater and you are on your phone 90% of the time, you're making me regret me paying for your ticket. Because why would you do that? It's just rude. Especially as somebody who wants to make films one day. If I, like, yes, I have your money, but like, I don't care. Like, you bought the ticket to go see my thing, and then you're just gonna sit in there and be on your phone. That's offensive to me. You are actively choosing to ignore the art that somebody made. That's offensive. It's rude. It's just rude. And I will say, I have been guilty of talking throughout films. I am very much guilty of that, but I'm not going around like, hey! Oh, look! Or maybe I'll let out the like occasional like, oh my god, really? This is the plot? Like, I will do that, but I've been trying to get better at that because I'm realizing I am a, disturbance. I've been trying to be better about that. It, especially after the pandemic, I kind of lost my being able to like mask myself within a theater. So I've been trying to teach myself how to do that again, because I don't want to ruin the experience for anybody. When I was younger, I would always go to the theater with my grandparents. We would always find some kind of movie to go see, and we would go see that movie. It is honestly one of my favorite memories with them, being able to see all these different movies. And then, of course, after the pandemic, that kind of like died down, and I'm an adult now, so don't really have time, unfortunately. But I still love seeing movies, and especially now, I make sure to make it a group event. There are a lot of movies now that are not worth seeing in theaters, unfortunately, especially when they go so quickly to streaming. And that's another part where we are kind of the problem, that like, we need to consume things right away. Slow down. Just slow down. You don't need to consume things right away. When you have a delicious meal, savor it. Take a second, enjoy the flavors, process it. But because we live in a world where like we need to consume things right away, mostly because of corporations, it is very hard to find movies that are worth going to go pay to go see, because they're just going to be streaming the next week. So it's very hard to find that balance. I keep like a list in my mind of like movies that I'm like, oh, I would love to see that in theaters, and movies that I'm like, I would see it if I went with a group of friends. Like Moana 2, I went to go see Moana 2. I enjoyed it. I wasn't going to go see it by myself though. I asked around to see if friends wanted to go see it, and we all went to go see it, and it was really fun. Same thing with, well, I probably would have saw Songbirds and Snakes without a group of friends, but like everybody wanted to see it. I was like, okay. And now I'm back on my Hunger Games stuff with I'm halfway through Sunrise on the Reaping as I'm recording this. But if you're gonna go and you're just gonna be a nuisance the whole time, and this is also no shade towards parents who bring their kids, but there is a certain age limit that you need to understand that like your kid isn't going to sit through a film. Your kid's probably going to want to run around, especially when they're that energetic. Because when I went to go see Moana 2, they were kids like running around, but like we kind of were like, it's fine. They're fine. But when I went to go see Wicked, and there was a bunch of 10-year-olds in front of me that were not paying attention and were talking throughout a good chunk of the beginning, I was livid. So we went to go see it with a group of people. Like my grandparents came, my second family came, my other second family came. It was an event because we really wanted to see Wicked, and it meant so much to my mom. So I was like, okay, this is great. And the inner protective daughter in me, when I heard these kids talking about it, like talking through it, I felt a rage rise within me to be like, shh, didn't have to, but I was close. I do believe I was close enough to shushing somebody, but I always do the thing where I cover my mouth to make it look like I'm like watching the screen. I'm like, shh, nobody knows it's me. He can get away with it because he's a man. I can't. Being a woman, there's things expected of me. So if I do something like that, people are like, oh, I can attack you for that. So that's a thing. That's fun. So that's why I do it subtly. Oh, why'd you turn off, buddy? No, there is so connected from my device. Nar. Oh, nar. Oh, how are you gonna have my cursor over here though? We're back. I remember one coworker came up and we were talking about the theater. I was like, yeah, this is a movie I wouldn't want to see, but if a group of people wanted to go, I'd go see it. And she's like, oh, I'm scared of the theater. I was like, oh, why? Can I ask why? And she's like, well, my daughter went the last time and some man was on his phone and she asked him to get off his phone because he was in a theater and they almost got in a fist fight. How insecure do you gotta be that when somebody politely asks you, hey, get off your phone because you're kind of ruining the experience for everybody, that you're gonna get in a physical fight? Like, they had to get security. Essentially, moral of the story, when the theater people and even a whole video is telling you to get off your phone, get off your phone. Twitter can wait at least an hour and a half. If you are to the point that you are on your phone 24/7, then it's a you problem, darling. The reason a lot of like people are on their phone a lot more, especially during theaters, is because at home that's what they're used to doing. In my film class, my second to last one that I took, it literally was called the second screen. We would call it second screen because you're watching, but then you're also scrolling. But is there a reason to scroll? You're there to watch something. Whenever my parents are like, oh, let's watch this as a family, I put my phone away. I put my phone down and away. Sometimes if it's being extra annoying, I turn on do not disturb because I'm there to spend time. That's the thing. That's the moral of the story. Spend time. You go to the theater to spend time. If you're just going to be there talking it up with a friend or being on your phone the entire time, then you're the problem. Like you're literally the reason that theaters are going to fail because you're ruining the experience for everybody, which is making people not want to go as much because they don't want to deal with stuff like that. If we all can just have the understanding that like there are rules, there are social rules when you go to the theater, that you need to put your phone away. You shouldn't be talking, and if you do, leave it as a whisper. And if you can't whisper, then just shut up and take notes. Take notes to talk about later. Listen, if you're going with somebody, there's a car ride home. There is a open, where I'm using my phone to record. I was going to be like, there's an open mode of communication to text or call somebody to be like, hey, so let's talk about that movie. This is my mom's phone. Do you want to see what my first phone was? Not sponsored by any of these. This was my phone. when I was a child. Ha. You thought I was young. I'm not. Essentially, you don't want to be the reason that you ruin somebody's day. I want people to kind of start treating going to the theater like going to a theme park sometimes. You pay money to be there. That's the thing. You pay money to go there, and you're just going to ruin it for everybody. People ruin Disney trips all the time, so I really shouldn't say anything about that. Not saying I have had any ruined Disney trips. I've had wonderful Disney trips. I still think about, again, when I went to go see the Wicked movie, they played the Minecraft trailer beforehand, and I visibly, I was like, oh, because during the trailer, I think that's ample time to make little comments, be like, oh, I want to see that movie. Yeah, you want to see that? I want to see it too. And the aforementioned 10-year-old whipped their head around at me, and I just made eye contact. And then they turn their head back around. You're really gonna pick a fight with me? Really? Because mini tangent. Minecraft has such intricate lore that if you went looking for it, you could find it. And they just ignored it. And that's what makes me frustrated. They just were like, no, we must make loud, vibrant movies so kids can watch, so we can get their parents' money. That's what it is. It frustrates me. It frustrates me. You could have made a beautiful story, and you're like, saw that? That was a cash grab. Oh, frustrates me. Essentially, at the end of the day, just don't ruin somebody's experience. But it's hard to find the point nowadays in the year 2025 to find a reason to go to the cinema, which is why I like to go as a group. I like to go as a group of friends to go to the theater so we can have that experience together. Now, if the movie's good, bad, meh, it doesn't matter. I went to go see Inside Out 2 with some friends. I went to go see Moana 2, like I said, with friends. I went to go see The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes with a big group of friends. I even saw Madame Web with a group of friends, and that was not worth our time. Though Madame Web isn't really trending anymore, so can I insult it still, or should I be like, it's cinema? End of the day, you will ruin the theater for everybody if you do these things. You will ruin the theater for somebody if you're talking real loud, if you're on your phone the whole time. There's no reason to be on your phone the whole time. If you're, like I said, if you're on your phone the entire time when you're watching a movie that you paid to see, you might as well have stayed home. Spooky. Yeah, I think that's all I really had to say. I have such a passion for movie theaters and making movies in general, and it is hard, especially on my end of things, because you could write the most amazing story and executives would be like, no, we rather would have the same burger we've been having, because that is what the critics want. The critics want the same burger they've been having. So it's kind of hard to make worthwhile stories, which is why you should go to a film festival, or I don't know, watch your friends thing, because that's where stories are kind of they're untouched and they're true to themselves. Again, I love storytelling and I love digesting different stories, good, bad, meh, because we can't have good stories without knowing what a bad story looks like. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Just don't be the reason somebody hates going somewhere. That's the moral of the story. Y'all, I need a haircut. What is this? What is this? The theater is such a wonderful place where you can get together to watch somebody's story. It doesn't matter what story it is, you're still watching a story, and it's just a wonderful place to go to. So please don't be that person that'll eat their sweets loudly, or will sit in the spot that you reserved, or will talk and be on their phone the whole time. Don't be that person, because you're going to ruin somebody's experience, and then that's going to ruin everything for somebody. That's going to ruin the theater for somebody, and they're never going to want to go again. Theaters are more important than we realize. When humans are in trouble, they turn to art, and theater is art. The earth without art is just and the earth without art is just a rock. So anyway, that's all I really had to say. Thank you for listening to me yap. Because I know I said in my post that I was going to write a script for this. I did not. I just kind of went off the cuff. I watched his video. I was like, that's all I need to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Remember, knowledge is power, but doing your own research is Very wise. Please subscribe, I guess. You can subscribe if you want, and if you ring the bell, you'll never miss an upload, but it's fine. I don't care. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. I am pumping out more and more gaming content into mid-May as I am editing and uploading this, so I'm very proud of myself for that. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and you guys have a great day. Please don't be the reason somebody has a bad day. See ya. Ooh, you can put this at the end. I have a hot take that I know I'll get hate for. I'm not looking forward to the Christopher Nolan Odyssey movie. I'm not. I love Christopher Nolan as a creator. I love him as a director. He did great with Batman. I think that's what he's made. As soon as I saw the casting, I was like, oh, so this isn't going to be accurate to the story at all. I personally would have casted Greek people. Matt Damon, wonderful. Zendaya, amazing. Tom Holland, great. There are other actors. And you just know that in areas that are like meant to not be a love story are going to be a love story, when the whole point of Odysseus is that he wants to get back home to his wife. Epic girlies rise up. Essentially, moral of the story is don't ruin the experience for everybody, because if you're on your phone, you're ruining the experience for everybody. If you're talking way too loud during the film, you're ruining the experience for everybody. And that is where you're going to be ruining theater for it. Like, you're the and that's where you're the reason that theaters are going to end, that theaters are going to fail, comes into play. If you're going to go into the theater and you're just going to be on your phone the whole time, then there's no point of you really being there.